Looking for a trusted supplier for all your household hardware needs? Look no further than Competitive Hardware Limited. We provide top quality building materials including cement, all types of iron sheets, paints, PPR and PVC pipes, electric pipes, building grills, BRC and square till in various sizes. Need interior and finishing materials? We've got you covered with gypsum, gypsum rails, marine boards, ceiling boards and tanks of all sizes. For fencing, we stock barbed wire, chain link and wire mesh. And the best part, we offer free countrywide delivery with our fleet of transit trucks and pickups. Your order arrives on time, every time. Visit us in Kitengela along Namanga Highway, opposite 411 stage, or at our branches in Kitisuru and Busia. For enquiries, call us on 020-26-88-888 or 0733-666632 or 0721-923248. Competitive Hardware Limited, your reliable hardware supplier. Almarai Company, in collaboration with Competitive Manpower, is urgently hiring for the following exciting roles: Grade 1 mechanics, panel beaters, refrigeration technicians, lead mechanics, diesel plant mechanics, welders and stainless steel welders. Why apply? This is a free recruitment with no application or placement fees required. Contact us today on 0721 506627 or 0733 392180. You can also visit us at Waterseas Plaza, Kikorok Road. Alternatively, you can send an email to info@competitivemanpower.com. Apply now. Limited slots available.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the newspaper review here at CBS this fine Tuesday morning. My name is DANFLOW LINDWE.
And my name is Joseph MATHENGE.
Now, of course, I have with me my seasoned journalist who will be helping me highlight the top stories in the dailies today. Now, with me here is the daily newspaper, the Daily Nation newspaper, and Mr. MATHENGE has the Standard newspaper. So I'll just read for you the top headline in the Daily Nation, which reads State Terror. And of course, there is the pictures there of the former deputy president, senators, the Inspector General of Police, and they're basically discussing the state of security in the country. What about the Standard newspaper?
The Standard headline says sliding into anarchy. And here we have a picture of an MP, actually Juja MP, actually lying on the ground at a coffee plantation. And it says that this is an MP,
yes,
MP who represents people in parliament. He's actually a leader, somebody who has security and all that, lying on the ground and unconscious.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, even for the Daily Nation here, the story of George Koimburi, that is the Juja MP who was allegedly abducted on Sunday afternoon. Well, he was on his way from church.
He was here from church.
And he was actually abducted right in front of everyone could see it in broad daylight. And he was found yesterday. He was dumped in a coffee plantation in Kiambu County.
Yeah.
Now, according to the Daily Nation here, a report the president handed to Parliament noted a rise in abductions blamed on crime. So even with no action taken against rogue security agents blamed for killing dozens of protesters during last June's Gen Z protests, there are growing concerns that a brutal crackdown on government's critics has escalated. The latest victim of state-sanctioned abductions is Juja MP George Koimburi. Now, police claimed he stage-managed his attack. The story goes on page 4, 5, and 6. What do you think about that that comment, particularly that the MP stage managed his attack?
When you read the story here,
yes,
and especially the Standard, it's clearly indicated that this man, the MP, was actually tortured, and actually he was forced to take to inhale some chemicals,
yes,
which actually tampered with his tissues, soft tissues.
Yes.
Now, where he is actually cannot talk, he cannot talk, he can only communicate through writing and also sign language and all that.
Yes.
I don't think this is, from what you're saying, this cannot be a managed thing altogether. When you look at this, it's not managed here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what, I don't know, but that's how it is from what we are seeing here and the report from the hospital. What doctors are saying that's far from the truth, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
So yesterday we also have the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. So Gachagua paid a visit to Koimburi at the hospital, and Gachagua was actually the one who had a small press conference where he addressed journalists, and he said the MP was tortured by professionals, and he was actually the one giving the details about the doctor's report following the examination, how they examined Koimburi. And a quote here by the former DP, I'll just read it. He says, he was beaten badly and tortured. He is unable to speak but was able to write. Doctors have confirmed that he was subjected to torture. So other than Koimburi, the Daily Nation also highlights other leaders in government who have had issues with the government of the day. For instance, Jane Kihara, that is Naivasha MP, who has recently protested the withdrawal of her police bodyguards. In fact, when Kihara was protesting the withdrawal of her police, she said she feels naked, and added that in case anything happens to her, she will blame the president.
Now, my question is,
yes,
when security is actually removed from the, taken away from the from an MP,
yes,
what does it mean?
Yeah,
when for sure we're saying that now that person let him or her have no security, what does it mean? It means that person now is he's actually in the open.
Yes.
He has no security. Anything can happen to him or her, and he's subjected to many things.
Yes.
That actually it's a reason to worry, especially when you have a security and suddenly it's pulled away from you.
Yes.
It leaves, and this is a person who is actually entitled to have security. By the government, actually he's supposed to have the security, but when it is pulled away from him or her, then things are not okay.
Yes, it definitely leaves a lot to be questioned. Now, other than Jane Kihara, we're also having the former Kakamega senator, that is Cleophas Malala. So police broke up the DCP deputies party leaders' homecoming rally in Kakamega. So he's currently the deputy party leader of the new party launched by Gachagua.
Yes.
And over the weekend they had a homecoming ceremony in Western Kenya, which
yes.
Even police lobbed tear gas in that event, and it was a peaceful event. So why would police lob tear gas canisters? Again,
that leaves a lot to be desired.
Yes.
Because these people, tear gas can only be open, or rather be thrown to people.
Yes.
When there is something, there is a threat, or maybe there are chaos.
Yes.
Or there is no peace. There is no peace in that meeting. That's when it's done that actually.
Yes.
Actually, to scatter people away. But now these are peaceful people.
These are peaceful people.
And then there's a tear gas actually launched onto them.
Yes.
That leaves again a lot to be desired actually.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I'll just a comment here by the Inspector General of Police, that is Douglas Kanja. He says police are accused of being used to harass government critics, but Kenya Kwanza leaders counter that. The Constitution grants the Inspector General of Police independent command of the police service, and if it was misleading to suggest politicians were directing his officers to settle, he says it was misleading to suggest politicians were directing his officers to settle political scores. So Kanja denies the allegations that the state is actually weaponizing security agents against anyone who stands against the ruling government.
The ruling government, yes.
Yeah.
We also have on Standard,
yes,
whereby they are talking about the four men who are worsening of security bosses we've had in this country.
Yes.
That is Kumukomen, Nurhadin, and Haji, and then we have Director of Criminal Investigations, Mohammed Amin,
yes,
and also Inspector General, Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja. It says, since the independent, these are the worst men we've had in security personnel.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. And in fact, it says, like, for example, about Murkomen. When people are talking about maybe riots and all that, and Murkomen is busy talking about on social media, showing about his watches and all that. That's what they're
shoes,
saying.
Yes,
shoes.
That's
what he's saying actually. That's what is written here.
His expensive belts.
Exactly. Now it's about. In fact, they call him Gucci CS.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know what do you have to say about that. They call him Gucci CS.
I think Murkomen, and you know, Murkomen, even when he was the Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary,
yes,
just since he became the Cabinet Secretary, yes, Murkomen has had this, you know, Kenyans are lamenting that Murkomen is just flashing out and bragging with his new belts, his new shoes, his new everything expensive at a time when Kenyans are decrying the high cost of living. Other than that, since he got into the security docket as the Interior Cabinet CS, Kenyans feel, you know, basically he's not doing enough.
Actually, they have likened him with the late Kaiseri. They're saying when Kaiseri was in power, was in the CS for security, actually he really did his job accordingly. And people could see the military acts in him, because he ensured that there was security in this country.
Yes.
Actually, when Kaiseri was in power, was in the CS for security, people, then there were no issues of there were no issues that we are seeing today.
Yes.
And he would address them accordingly. But here we see Murkomen, whenever he's talking, where security issues are supposed to be addressed, he's talking of the UDA party, of the party, which again should not be the case. As a CS, he should not be talking of the party, he should be talking of the security.
Yes.
Yes.
And something else, cabinet secretaries are not supposed to be, you know, delving into political issues, but it's like Murkomen is still, he still thinks he's an MP, he still thinks he can talk about politics, but his role is different from that of a politician.
Indeed, it is.
Then even just for the standard to question, are these four men the worst of security bosses?
Yes.
It also comes at a time, these people are sitting at the helm of the security dockets at a time when there is a rise in abduction cases. We're still having people, particularly on social media, Kenyans posting and reposting their people, their kin who are still missing. You know, people have been missing for months. We recently picked bodies in bags in Kware, in a dump site in Kware. So indeed, it actually, the question is actually a good question. Are these the worst of security bosses?
In fact, going back to the issue of abductions and all that, they are saying, people are asking, if an MP can be abducted, an MP in a broad daylight, an MP can be abducted, how about an ordinary person?
Yes. Common mwananchi atasema nini?
Yeah, that's a question people are asking here. It means now a common mwananchi. In fact, I have just read another story here saying security is wanting in this country.
Yes.
Because somebody gave an example saying that the other day she was actually driving together with the mother and the phone was snatched from the car. Now the mother said, can we go and report to the police? She said, no, there's no need of reporting, because even if we go to report, the only thing we require from the police station is just an OB, a white paper, and nothing else.
Yes.
So instead of wasting our time, let's just take it as it is.
Yes.
Yes.
So again, so there's an issue of security where people, you know, it's like Kenyans are being forced to just accept the situation, because it's like when you go to the security organs, you don't get as much help as you might expect. Remember last week we were also highlighting an issue about justice, where we're saying it's like the corridors of justice don't necessarily assure you that you will get justice served, you know.
Yes,
and with Kenyans, even social media saying muganga atakupatia justice more than the judiciary.
Again, if you have reached that level, of now focusing on muganga,
It is alarming.
It's alarming.
I guess that is why even the Standard newspaper, the headline, the top story, they're saying we are sliding into anarchy. And sliding
means, the word sliding means sliding.
Yes.
It's not your wish to head to that direction, but it's just sliding. You know, slippery road it takes you to somewhere you don't want to be. To a trench and all that,
you don't
or into a river.
That, yes.
Yeah, now we are sliding into anarchy. That's what the Standard is saying.
Yes. Now another story on the Nation, the Daily Nation on page 5 actually, it reads Ruto's walk in Moi's footsteps, the torture and abductions playbook. So reading from the same script, Mr. Koimburi's abductions came 2 weeks after President Ruto promised an end to the state abductions, and it has resumed. The abductions had actually resurrected memories of the repressive post-1982 coup era when paranoia gripped the Nyayo regime. And around in 1975 actually, so actually this story actually highlights how the different regimes used to tackle dissent. And there's a story here, a reminder of 1975, the year when outspoken Nyandarua North MP, that was J.M. Kariuki, was killed during the Jomo Kenyatta government. So
we can liken again J.M. Kariuki with the Juja MP.
Yes.
Because we are left. Actually, Juja MP was actually, it's only him is not dead.
Yes.
But he was found in a coffee plantation. J.M. Kariuki was found in the Gong forest. That's why his body was actually recovered.
Okay.
And now we are seeing things likely to happen, or maybe the similarity of these issues. Yes.
Okay, now moving on to another story. So yesterday, UON, the council chair, that is Professor Amuko Anangwe.
Yes.
He resigned. There's a report that he has resigned. So State Hand, according to the Daily Nation, they're saying there's State House had a hand in Professor Anangwe's resignation from UON. And it reads, Professor Anangwe and 2 other council members had been arrested in allegations of abuse of office. So university's professors' lobby played a part in pushing council chairperson to resign, according to this story. So they're saying that the story actually alleges that even the CS, that is Education CS, Migos Ogamba, had a hand to play in this. It's like the resignation of these 3, particularly the UON chair, it wasn't willing.
In fact, they are saying that the government, rather, the people who are needed, who are actually needed to be the heads of the university, must be yes men and women. Those are the people who are being actually focused to be there. People who will not be saying anything, but they will be being driven by some forces elsewhere from outside, so external forces.
They have to say yes, sir.
Yes and yes. Yes men and yes women. Those are the ones who are needed there.
Like you know, the deputy president, the current deputy president, that is Kithure Kindiki. He said he is a yes sir. You know, he says yes sir.
And that is it's not a very good knowledge or ideology. To be a yes person, it means you're not using your own brain. You're actually not, you cannot make decisions on your own independently. You have to rely on somebody else. That's what they are saying here.
And remember, recently we highlighted a story about up to 211 billion shillings worth of state of properties that is owned by the University of Nairobi.
It's the richest institution in the country. It's the
richest institution in the country, and it's like that is what, you know, whoever sits, like we were saying last week, whoever sits on that council has a lot to benefit and might actually be standing, you know, so whoever sits on that chair has a lot to benefit, and
actually that might actually on that. People are actually looking on that. They can actually, you can see some of them actually. You know, from a distance, they're actually looking forward on how they can actually get something from it, grabbing or benefiting from all these, from the property of the institution.
Yes. Now, and still on matters education, I had seen a story on Standard about the capitation crisis.
In fact, what the story says here in Standard is that now crisis depends as capitation fails to reach schools. In fact, it says they cannot even afford to buy chalk, pieces of chalk. You can imagine that's where the school, education, we are heading to. Institutions will not be able to purchase chalk. whereby it's a mere thing actually.
Yes.
That when you use to write on the board, soon will be now. I don't know what will be happening if we know we have no chalks in schools. What will happen now?
It is very alarming indeed. You know, it's like it's like there are no resources to support the learning
the
process.
learning process.
Yes, and also something else. Still on capitation. Recently, the government announced that it had released capitations to schools.
Yes.
But when the schools reported back, there's an institution from Nyanza that said they received less than 100 shillings as capitation.
You know, that's less than 100 shillings.
Less than 100 shillings.
What does that mean? 100 shillings? It means they cannot afford
anything.
They
They have been given nothing.
Actually, 100 shillings is just a cup of tea and without mandazi.
Hiyo ni ya principal peke yake. I can't, you know, it's like, I can't imagine the dilemma the school heads are currently dealing with, you know. They're avoiding phone calls from suppliers.
Oh my.
You know, at the same time, they're being told they can't tell these learners, particularly learners that are yet to complete their fee payments. They're not supposed to chase these learners away. At the same time, they don't have any finances to cater for their food, for chalks, for...
So the suppliers, actually, they're running away from suppliers.
They're running away from suppliers.
Yes, and remember yesterday we were talking about the penny bills. Now, the penny bills are actually now increasing in this country.
Yes.
Being one of them, education being one of the reasons why these bills are actually increasing. So
the education sector is actually in quite a dilemma because remember at the same time yesterday we were highlighting a story about how even the exam, the budget, the 6 billion shillings that ought to be provided to cater for the national exams at the end of the year. There's no money for that as well.
In fact, the head teachers, they face the grim reality of operating with barely enough funds to buy chalk, you see, and let alone run entire institutions.
Yes.
They want the parliament to intervene, demanding transparency and also an end to bureaucratic games.
So I think this is the first time in the country the education sector is facing such hurdles.
We've never seen this. In fact, long time ago, when we were in school, would even be given for free, you know, those bags for carrying boxes, carrying books and all that. Today, that is history actually.
That is history.
Yes.
Very alarming. Now moving on to another story. There's actually an interesting story I've read here on page 3 of the Daily Nation. Why court barred teacher from recovering gift from his ex-lover? So according to this story, a high school teacher was dating a certain lady. Okay. And since they were seeing each other and they loved each other, the guy decided to give the lady 166,700 shillings as capital to boost her bar business.
Her bar business, okay.
Yes. Now, once the relationship, they fell apart, the man comes back and he's going to court and he wants the court to compel this lady to return the 166,000 Kenyan shillings.
There was also another story we saw yesterday, somewhere in Western, where a man decided to go and bring down a house that he has built for his in-laws. Yes. Because they had separated. His wife, they had been in relation for 9 years. Yes. Now, when the lady, when the lady moved to another person, when they was at separation, now the husband, now the man, decided to go and demolish the house he has built for his in-laws. Now it's the same story actually again, similar to that. Yes. Yeah. So according to the judge ruled that, so this is a quote by Justice Asenath Ongeri. He says, I find that the woman is not liable to refund the amount as the man did not prove it was a recoverable business contribution. In fact, a gift, when somebody gives a gift, when does that gift become your property? It's a gift. The moment I have given you a phone, can I come and go get it back from you? No, according to the court of law, it says for as long as there is no contract, we didn't sign any contract saying I'm supposed to return this or it's an investment. It's a gift, and gifts are not. You can't take me to court for gifting. So a gift ceases to become somebody's property. Well, the moment I've given you a gift, it ceases to become my property. It's yours. Yes. And it's the same thing we see lands have been, somebody gives land as a gift to a certain institution,
Yes.
maybe a church or a hospital, and then after some time, he may wish to come back and get it.
Yes.
Is it possible?
It is not. It is not possible. You know, in fact, people are just. You know, maybe again we understand it comes from a place of hurt. You know,
Yes.
someone is heartbroken.
Yes.
Like for instance, this man that went to demolish the house he had built for the in-laws.
Yes.
We understand he's heartbroken.
But then the question is, can that gift be reversible?
No, it's not reversible. It has even been ruled here.
Within the law of this country,
It's
a
not
gift cannot be
reversible.
reversible.
Yes.
It's not. It is irreversible.
Yes.
The moment somebody has given you a gift,
Yes.
it's irreversible, unless it's not a gift, or maybe he has actually rendered to you
Yes.
to have it for some time, then you return it.
Yes.
But even a land, when you allow somebody to be in your land for over 10 years, do you know that that person is also entitled to have a share?
Of that land.
Yes.
As a squatter now.
As a squatter, and you allow him to be there for over 10 years,
Yes.
he automatically, the law says that person now has a right now to have a portion.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, moving on to another story here about Ruto. Ruto says wildlife attack claims to be paid within 7 months. So he says human-wildlife conflicts claims will be paid within 7 months following the introduction of a digital system. So he spoke yesterday about this, and he said to achieve the 7 months turnaround, Ruto said the Tourism and Wildlife Ministry has deployed officers to work alongside KWS rangers to ensure reports are done within 90 days.
The story reminds me of what we saw the other day in Kitui,
Yes.
where children have been bitten by snakes, and they want now people in the area want the compensation from compensation from the government.
Yes.
And some of them were being told that they cannot prove that they were bitten by snakes, and it's their recklessness that made them to be, which is another thing.
Wow. Now that is interesting, and it is also alarming. You know, that I can come with the complaint and my complaint be dismissed.
Yeah.
Yet I have evidence that I've actually been bitten by a snake.
Yeah, but
even
now,
a medical report.
A medical report is enough.
Yeah.
It's enough evidence that you're bitten by snakes, because snakes, they come from the forest, from the bush, and enter houses.
Yes.
Now, the government should also compensate for that.
True.
Yes.
Now, we'll be taking a short break. We've highlighted for you a few stories making headlines in the dailies. We'll be right back with what's happening in business, still some more on what's happening in the treasury. Actually, I'm seeing here an interesting story. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Almarai Company, in collaboration with Competitive Manpower, is urgently hiring for the following exciting roles: Grade 1 mechanics, panel beaters, refrigeration technicians, lead mechanics, diesel plant mechanics, welders, and stainless steel welders. Why apply? This is a free recruitment with no application or placement fees required. Contact us today on 0721 506627 or 0733 392180. You can also visit us at Waterseas Plaza, Kikorok Road. Alternatively, you can send an email to info@competitivemanpower.com. Apply now. Limited slots available.
Welcome to Competitive Training Institute, empowering you with in-demand skills. At Competitive Training Institute, we equip you with practical, job-ready skills that open doors both locally and internationally. Whether you're aiming to become a qualified caregiver, certified plumber, skilled automotive mechanic, or want to learn a foreign language like French, Arabic, or German, and many more, we've got the right course for you. Our hands-on training, guided by experience experienced instructors and aligned with market demands ensures you're ready to compete and succeed in today's job market. We don't just train, we help you get hired. Our job placement team supports you in finding meaningful work after graduation. We are proudly accredited by NITA, ensuring high standards in all we offer. Ready to begin? Call us on 020-200-192 or 0721-223081 or email us at competitivetraining@gmail.com. Your journey starts here. Let's build your future together.
Competitive Manpower International Limited is recruiting delivery riders in the United Arab Emirates. If you have a passion for the road and a desire to work in a fast-paced environment, then this is your chance. Don't wait. Send your applications to competitivemanpower@gmail.com. Want to apply in person? Visit our offices at Kiko Road behind the Casa Hotel, KCB River Road, Nairobi. For more details, call us now on 0721 506627 or 0733 392180. Act Fast opportunities are limited. Secure your spot today and start your journey as a delivery rider in the United Arab Emirates.
And welcome back to the newspaper review here at CBS. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have just highlighted for you a number of stories making headlines. And we were finalizing a story about wildlife attacks claims to be paid within 7 months by you. That was a statement made yesterday by President William Ruto. Now moving on to other matters. There's a story here about 2 ministers who disagree over 4.5 billion shillings for Bomas of Kenya upgrade. So the 2 ministers are the Treasury CS, that is John Mbadi, and Tourism CS, Rebecca Miano. Now according to this story, Mr. Mbadi wrote to Ms. Miano asking her to ring-fence the amount from Tourism Promotion Fund. Now, so basically the beef of contention is you see, the Bomas of Kenya was supposed to be renovated,
yes,
and the funds were supposed to come from a Turkish firm.
A Turkish firm, or a Turkish firm is the one that is sponsoring, funding the renovation
of
yes,
the Bomas,
okay,
and it was supposed to be a private public partnership, yes, between the government and the farm. The farm.
Yes.
But now the bone of contention comes about where the Treasury CS wants the Tourism CS to ring-fence the 4.5 billion shillings. Yes. He says this amount is supposed to be used for the Bomas of Kenya.
The Bomas of Kenya.
But
yes,
Miano, on her part, she says the Bomas of Kenya does not fall under the tourism docket. It falls under the cultural heritage and gender docket.
Gender docket.
Yeah, so she does not understand why money is coming from her docket, yes, to fund the renovation of the, yes, Bomas of Kenya. Yes.
Actually, renovation of Kenya. I mean, the renovation of this Bomas of Kenya.
Yes.
Bomas of Kenya is under the Ministry of Culture, mm-hmm, and Gender. Mm-hmm. It's not the tourism.
It's not the tourism.
Not in tourism. And now, my big question is,
yes,
how can there be a misunderstanding between 2 CSs, mm-hmm, who sit in the same cabinet? Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's actually worrying. It's worrying
because, yeah, these are people in the same cabinet. Mm-hmm. They should be actually be in one accord, mm-hmm, not disagreeing again in public.
Yes.
Yes.
So MPs are actually addressing this issue, and hopefully that can be addressed before that comes out. But remember again, yeah, the Bomas of Kenya, there was a time President William Ruto, in fact, it was Gachagua, the former deputy president.
Yes.
He came out alleging that the Bomas of Kenya had already been sold. You know, the way state parastatals are being privatized.
Yeah.
So he had woken up with such allegations, which of course we have not seen the government responding to that.
And yes, now again, the question arises here.
Yes.
How can a private firm,
yes,
come out willingly to renovate such an institution,
yes,
with such a huge amount of money?
Mm-hmm.
What are the how are they going to benefit from that?
Yes, it actually raises a lot of questions.
Yes.
So this farm, the Turkish farm, was actually supposed to come in with a tune of 31.6 billion Kenyan shillings.
Yes.
So, and once this farm comes with that 31.6 billion shillings,
yes,
the government comes with the 4.5 billion shillings.
Now,
so
that's a huge amount of money,
yes,
for
renovation.
For renovation.
Yes.
And again, for such a Turkish farm, even to put in such an amount of money,
yes,
there must be a return. They are now recovering.
In what way are they benefiting from this?
Which again, we are not sure and we've not been told.
Yes.
But we need to find out.
We need to find out more.
Yes. And now again, here we have a story of grain reserve releases. Grain reserve releases made to stabilize prices in Kenya.
Yes.
Here again shows Mutahi Kagwe saying that they have actually released about 200,000 bags and they will be taken to various maize fillers.
Yes.
Now it reminds me of how it happened, because in Israel and in Egypt, where there was no food again, and that's how we saw now Joseph becoming in charge of that food again.
Yes.
Distributing food, because there was famine in the country. Again, it's like Kenya is heading to that direction, or what?
Yeah.
Because we can see Mutahi Kagwe becoming it's like Joseph now, this time now, or what?
So I think recently the government announced that, remember last year we had a fertilizer scandal.
Yes.
Where the government actually distributed fake fertilizer to Kenyans. And even the CS,
yes,
the then CS for Agriculture, Linturi, was brought before Parliament to answer to that.
Yes.
Now, that led to low productivity.
And that's okay. So that's why we don't have enough.
We don't have enough maize in the country, actually. And alarm had been raised some weeks back. I think even last month,
yes,
we had highlighted that story here, where there was already alarm that
yes,
the price of maize flour was going to rise due to lack of enough maize in the country.
In fact, that's why the ministry,
yes,
is actually releasing out the 200,000 bags because of the rising. I mean the price of maize flour rising up.
Rising.
Now
yes,
they want now to counterattack that one by now releasing this kind and giving out,
yes,
and so that they can lower the price.
And again, the minute the price of unga, ugali is a basic food. It's a
stable food.
Food.
Yes.
It's in every household.
Yes.
So the minute every household can't afford ugali again, we are likely to see people in the streets protesting that. Yeah.
If you cannot afford maize flour,
yeah,
then that's another problem.
It
a
will
major
be
one.
A big problem.
Yes.
Now moving on to matters health, patients suffer as counties threaten mass dismissal of striking workers. So that story is on page 10 of the Daily Nation, and it says 8,571 health workers have vowed not to relent until the promises of permanent jobs are fulfilled. So over the weeks we've been having different counties, health
yes,
workers from different counties holding
yes,
protests,
yeah,
demanding better work environment, yes.
Yeah.
And now the counties have threatened mass dismissal of those striking workers.
You can imagine when they dismiss over 8,000 workers, what will happen? That will be a crisis.
A health crisis.
In the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
So emergency departments are operating with skeleton staff. Maternity wards are also struggling to deliver basic services. So there is an ultimatum here issued. So a quote here by facility in charge Margaret Ndinwa, she
yes,
says this conduct constitutes negligence of duty. So the move by the health workers to strike,
yes,
says the conduct constitutes negligence of duty, which is a serious breach of their responsibilities as health workers. Now just here a small highlight here by the Daily Nation.
Yes.
So ultimatum order for staffs to resume their duties. So they've been ordered to resume their duties. So in Tana River County, health officials are equally grappling with the same headache following a consultative meeting on UHC staff held on May 6th. So the May 6th, on May 6th, in Tana River, a memo was issued for them to return to work. And on May 7th, day workers were to report. So they were to report to work on May 7th.
But they have they reported back?
They have not reported back.
Yes.
So the memo read 2025, you're required to resume work with immediate effect and not later than May 7th. An internal memo in the nation's possession that was sent to all UHC staffers in the county reads, however, to date, not one single of them has reported back to work.
And so their chances are they will be dismissed because the deadline, but now the deadline that they had been given to resume to work
has passed.
That's how I would see how it goes.
But again, as we can see, the crisis is not only in the education sector.
Yes.
The health sector is also struggling. It's so like...
What could be the problem? Because now this health crisis, education also has issues. What is now that? What does it reflect to the
government? It just means the government. I think it reflects poorly on the government if all sectors
have issues.
Yes. And it also leaves Kenyans wondering, who do we rely on? You know, if our government, which is taxing us heavily, cannot provide the basic.
So the government should actually focus on that and meet all these requirements and the cries of the people, so as to avoid any crisis.
Yes,
should actually focus on that.
Yeah.
Now again, there's a story here of judiciary who wants to lay a charge over online war. Yeah. And that is lawyer Ahmed Abdullah, who actually is can be charged over online war. And this war again, online war, I think it's something that we should talk about, because this is where you find people actually doing all sorts of things, abuses and all that, even fighting on that. I think we did talk about this. It means you can be charged of that.
Yes. You know, one thing about social media, it actually took, you know, it's like for us here as media professionals, we will be held accountable for anything we say, you know, or anything we print out or publish. The same way social media took that power to the people. So anything they write or publish on those social spaces, they can be held accountable for that.
Because
so that is why we're seeing...
There's no verification of whatever is being written in social media. So if I want to attack you in the social media, I just want to tarnish your name, I just go to the social media and I do it. And if, nobody, before, there's no even verification. You're not given a right of response to do that. So there's a difference between now social media again and now journalism again.
But now for us as journalists, of course, there's a lot of verification. There's a lot of that goes on into verifying whatever we publish. But now, since that power to spread information is also given to the people, it comes with some responsibility, of which, you know, for us, we can have that media training to be taught about how to handle, to deal with the power we've been given. But now for the general audience, you know, the lawyer Ahmed Dasin is not the first person to be held accountable for whatever he's publishing online. But we've even had Gen Zs.
But now Ahmed is a lawyer who should actually know this better than us. What do you think?
I don't know. I guess people also underestimate the power of what they are publishing on social media.
So it should be, actually, people should be very careful. There should be a public sensitization about social media. Whatever you put on social media, how far you can, what you can do, what you can actually put on social media and what you cannot put.
Yes.
I think that should be a very important thing.
That should be looked into, because recently we even had Gen Zs going to court for posting, you know, someone wakes up and posts misleading information on social media. Someone even wakes up and kills the president on social media, things like that. And
personalities, that is now killing personalities. It should not be the case at all.
So, and when they're brought to court, they're shocked that, you know, they think it is not just a tool for playing games and posting lifestyle issues. It actually has its power, which people ought to be aware of.
And also we have a law of the land actually protecting people on that. So if somebody puts my name in the social media, I have a right actually to sue that person.
You have a right to sue that person.
And therefore, then I think, like you're saying, we need to sensitize the public about this. Not all the time you put everything in social media is taken as a gospel truth. One should be. And why is it that some bloggers do that? And are they not aware of this?
They are aware of that. You know, even bloggers are taken to court. When bloggers are taken to court.
Yes.
Yes.
So it means that because that is negligence. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Now on page 12 of the Daily Nation, Sacred Swindlers expose. So Communications Authority cracks whip. So according to this story, the Communications Authority of Kenya wants to go after any, you know, we've been having, they recently put a ban on any gambling advertising on TV.
On TV, yes.
And the ban came on April 29th.
Yes.
Now after that, the nation actually did an expose recently that highlighted how a priest, a prophet in Kenya, was with 5 media stations, is collecting millions from Kenyans.
And this is what we are saying now, the difference between gambling and offerings again. Remember the story of yesterday's story?
Yes.
Offerings and sacrifices. I mean, offerings and gambling. Yes.
Okay, so there's a quote here by the Communications Authority of Kenya, and it says, "We appreciate the role of investigative media in bringing to light issues of public interest in the ICT sector." So the ICT, the Communications Authority, led by the Director General, that is David Mugonyi, has vowed to take a step following to act on the expose and to go after those rogue TV stations that are benefiting from Kenya's vulnerability.
Yeah, and I think that should be it. I mean, I want to thank David Mugonyi, because he has actually responded to the stories that have been highlighted by the media.
Yes.
So that's congratulations to him, and we want to see him actually moving and swinging to action. Yeah.
Okay, interesting story. Any interesting story from your end in the Standard newspaper?
I just see the story here whereby it says the money, it's about business. I had just seen it here.
Yes.
Where it says that mobile money, how mobile money is going to create job in the country and also worldwide. We've seen that these days people don't. When did you last enter into a bank to withdraw your cash?
Maybe to deposit the check.
But you have to deposit the check.
But
any other transaction, you do it from your phone.
From my phone, yes.
So that's so it says actually mobile money is now actually building futures and creating jobs in the country, worldwide. Because even somebody in UK, in Australia, wherever, can send money to you via mobile without any other transaction. And
it is actually making work easier.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, another story on business here in the Daily Nation. African Development Bank is set to pick a new head to confront U.S. funding cuts. So according to this story, a meeting was held in Ivory Coast this week to pick a new president at a time when the continent's biggest multilateral lender faces unprecedented challenges from funding cuts from the U.S. government. So we will be keeping updated on that. We'll be telling you who the new president for the African Development Bank will be. Now, moving on to another story. There's a story here about Saudi officials denies reports ban on alcohol will be lifted. So this is a regulatory story. So this is a story in Dubai, international news actually. So a Saudi official denied on Monday media reports saying that the kingdom, the birthplace of Islam, would lift its 73-year-old ban on alcohol, which is prohibited for Muslims. So it's like that was a rumor.
Yeah, that was a rumor. According to the story, it was a rumor.
Yeah.
And Muslims cannot ban such a ban. They cannot.
They can't lift that ban.
You know, actually, it's a rumor. That's what they're saying. Yeah. It's a rumor. So if you're in Saudi or maybe the UAE, you should actually avoid that, because that can also can lead you into problems if you are found actually selling or even consuming alcohol.
Alcohol, yeah.
It's a problem actually.
They call it haram. It's
That's haram, yeah. You should actually avoid that. And we see Kenyans who go there. Some of them actually I understand there are some who have illicit brew in some areas in Saudi. Yeah, so they should actually avoid that. In the event in case somebody is arrested or is found selling that illicit brew, charges are different from that we get in this country. So they should avoid that.
So an interesting story here about trade. So an anti-Muguka bill lands in National Assembly. So Kilifi North MP has tabled the proposed law to delist the stimulant, citing adverse effects. So remember, is Muguka the same as Mira?
Muguka is the same as Mira.
The same as Mira.
Yeah, they fall in the same category.
Okay.
Yes.
So 1 million Kenyan shillings. So this is the amount Mombasa County earns daily from the trade in Mira and Muguka in levies. And so Mombasa, Kilifi and Taita Taveta banned the sale of the cash crop. And now we are having an anti-Muguka bill that is landing in Parliament.
So it means that people who who take Mira and Muguka, now the business will no longer be there. Especially the business people, those who, the
farmers.
The farmers now will be into problem. Actually, they have nothing to sell.
Yes, and it's written here, thousands of Muguka farmers in Kenya are staring at economic uncertainty following a legislative proposal to delist the stimulants from the scheduled crops list, a move that could strip it of legal protection and state support. I remember recently we had a proposal to even have Muguka exported.
Exported, yeah, we had that, yeah.
Now it's like that, we're moving backwards, particularly if Muguka, the anti-Muguka bill is assented to law.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is, it could actually be sad, but at the same time, remember, we've also been having reports of children, minors that are dropping out of school to help their parents run. And even farm the Muguka.
But now the question is, when such bill passes, what will happen? Does it mean that farmers will have to approve all these products in their crops in their farms, or what?
We'll definitely see, because if of course the law says that now Muguka is banned in the country, they'll have to approve. But at the same time, it's like in the country we know another plant that Kenyans use as a drug is marijuana.
Marijuana, yes.
It is, you hear some like recently there was a report that marijuana is planted in Mount Kenya forest.
But now is it there officially? If you have found it, it's like bangi.
We usually have we have Kenyans that are planting bangi even in the house.
In the house, but now you see now they do that secretly.
Secretly, yeah.
But now there are things you cannot cover for long.
So even but at the same time,
because you cannot plant
bang for long.
Bang for long you cannot actually plant it in the house. It's actually outside.
Yes.
And outside it means it's in the open. Everybody can see it.
So
but what they do, it's planted in between at the center. They're surrounded by other crops.
Yeah.
But it's somewhere in between actually. Yeah.
So
katikati.
We're waiting to see if Muguka farmers will also be forced to plant their crops the same way. But we'll be keeping updated on that, if the bill is actually assented to law, or and particularly the reactions of Kenyans and the Muguka farmers.
Yes.
Once they see this bill, how will they react to this?
Yeah, that one. It's dangerous. Actually, that one is. We are looking forward to that, see how far it will go, because again, it has been there for ages. Muguka and even Mira have been there for ages, especially from Meru, region. It has been there, and this is a crop that it is like a cash crop actually. It is a cash crop. So, making it be legal, that will be a different thing altogether.
And it will be a challenge also.
It will be a challenge, yes.
Now we are moving on to matters sports. Here in the Daily Nation, Kenya scrambles to finish CHAN venues. So the biennial tournament will run from August 2nd to August 28th in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. So this is an East African engagement. So we're hoping to see how that goes. And so with just over 2 months to go before the the kickoff of the delayed 2024 African Nations Champions, that is the CHAN Championships. Kenya is still lagging behind in its preparations to co-host the tournament alongside Uganda and Tanzania. So CHAN is a biennial football competition reserved for players competing in their domestic leagues. This year's edition, which has attracted 19 teams, including the host nations, is scheduled to take place this August for almost 4 weeks. So despite the assurance from local organizing committees, Chairman Nicholas Musonye, that Kenya is on track, Nation Sport has learned that the Confederation of African Football inspection team, which visited the country last week, was left unimpressed by the pace and state of preparation.
So it means we may not be able, we are not actually ready to host
the games.
The games.
Yet, you know, again, will this paint us in bad light? Because, you know, we're not doing this alone.
It happened the same. There's a time
in
we
Uganda,
were to host.
The Uganda and Tanzania.
Yeah, there's a time we were actually to host, we were supposed to host a competition in Kenya. Again, the same thing happened in Eldoret. The stadium was not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time they were coming, that's the time tractors were, those bulldozers were in the field. Actually, they had not even planted grass and all that. In fact, in less than 2 months, only 2 months remaining, nothing much had happened actually. And we are seeing the same thing happening here.
It's like it's repeating. And it will actually paint us in very bad light. You know, considering the fact that Kenyans are very vocal on social media.
Yes.
Tanzania wakifanya kitu, or once Uganda does something, Kenyans are ready to laugh, attack.
And now this one, how, you know, we cannot actually hide.
Yeah,
there are things you cannot hide. They normally say you cannot hide maybe a scar on the face.
Yes, you can't.
You cannot, you cannot. Now this one,
yes,
I don't know what to say about it, but it's actually putting us in another situation, awkward situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Absa Kipkeino Classic, which will be happening 4 days from now, and in the Kipkeino Classic, we expect Mweresa and Okech target world qualifying times. So Athletics KDF duo aim to strike 400 meters qualifying marks for Tokyo event.
Yes.
Yeah. Any story from your end?
Maybe I can see it from your end there. We can see about the lady that who actually is likely to win the world record.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about her.
So Mweresia, she's 31 years old, and yes, she missed last year's edition of the Continental Gold Tour tournament event due to an injury. Now, hopefully this year we are hoping that she will shine in this year's tournament. So the African Military Games 400 meters medalist Boniface Mweresia and Mercy Okech. So Mercy Okech want to leave memorable moments at the Ulinzi Sports Complex backyard at this year's Absa Kipkeino Classic on Saturday. So they might have qualified with the men's 4x400 meters and mixed relay teams for the World Athletics Championships and set for Tokyo in September. But the Kenya Defense Force duo want to strike the 400 meters qualifying standards at the Kipkeino Classic. So we'll be keeping you updated on how that goes this weekend. Remember, all roads lead to the it's called what?
Remember, there's this, you know, people are going to also to in Rabat.
Yes.
There's a competition that took place actually yesterday.
Yes.
And Kenyan Beatrice Chebet actually won the women 3,000 meters.
Yes.
And she got, actually she won yesterday. She's the winner of this that race. Yeah.
So this,
that was on Sunday.
Okay.
Yes.
So this coming Saturday, the Kipkeino Classic will be streamed live at the Nation at NTV. Catch that. So we've highlighted for you top stories in the dailies, from politics to health, education, security issues, business, and even sports. So as we finish today's newspaper review, remember to grab yourself a copy of the dailies just to delve deeper into the stories we have highlighted for you and those we did not get the time to highlight for you. My name is DANFLOW LINDWE.
And my name is Joseph Mathenge.
Have yourself a blessed day.
team at AYTB, in partnership with Competitive Manpower, AYTB is seeking qualified candidates for the following positions: Technical Advisor, QA or QC Personnel, Shop Coordinator, Report Organizer, Rotating Equipment Repair Technician, Valve Overhaul Technician, Machining Technician.
Contact us today on 0721 506627 or 0733 392180. You can also visit us at Waterseas Plaza, Kikorok Road. Alternatively, you can send an email to info@competitivemanpower.com. Apply now. Limited slots available. Competitive Manpower International Limited is recruiting delivery riders in the United Arab Emirates. If you have a passion for the road and a desire to work in a fast-paced environment, then this is your chance. Don't wait. Send your applications to competitivemanpower@gmail.com. Want to apply in person? Visit our offices at Kiko Road behind the Casa Hotel, KCB River Road, Nairobi. For more details, call us now on 0721 506627 or 0733 392180. Act fast, opportunities are limited. Secure your spot today and start your journey as a delivery rider in the United Arab Emirates.